promised to clean up the union.
What the hell?
These graphs show union membership and the share of output going to the top 10% of earners over time, in the UK on the left and the US on the right. It's clear that for both countries, union membership is inversely correlated with the income of the top 10%. Correlations can only take us so far, of course, but these are pretty striking. A recent paper by Anna Stansbury and Larry Summers investigates this question in more detail and finds that the bargaining power of labour is the biggest factor in explaining the rise of inequality in the USA. Their paper is technically complex, but there are a few graphs which illustrate their point nicely. They find that the wage bonus of being in a union has fallen by about 29%. More generally, what they call labour rents, which you can think of as labour's share of the surplus of corporations, fell from about 11% in 1985 to about 6% in 2015, as shown by this graph. I encourage you to take these numbers, as with all numbers, with a pinch of salt. But there was an especially interesting part of the paper which I think gets at the crucial question of whether globalization intensified competition and therefore destroyed the income available to workers. In this view, workers lost out only because their industries had to tighten their belts in the face of international competition, and globalization is what caused the decline in the domestic middle class. The first graph shows a measure of profitability against a measure of import penetration. It's not funny. It's not. So what does import penetration mean? It measures the exposure of an industry to international trade. The higher it is, the more likely an industry is to face competition from abroad. In this case, the x-axis shows the change in import penetration, specifically from low-wage countries. This should capture the rise in the type of international competition which has undercut industries and workers in rich countries. Each dot on the graph is a particular industry, like textiles or furniture. The y-axis shows the industry's change in profitability over the same period. As we'd expect, this graph shows that more competition for an industry, as shown by the change in low-wage import penetration, is correlated with a lower change in profits for that industry, with many industries experiencing declining profitability over the period. But what does this mean for labour? Conventional wisdom would have it that exposure to trade intensifies competition and therefore that there is less to go around for both labour and for capital, but this isn't obviously the case. The x-axis in this graph once again measures the change in low-wage import penetration, but the y-axis now has the change